So, you gonna sit down there? Okay, then ring the bell. Gotcha.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Flint. Our minister is the Reverend Joe Cherry, and I'm Sue Owen Kinsey, a member of this congregation and the worship associate for today. This is an LGBTQ affirming gathering who believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all. We believe that we are here to make this world a better place for those that are here now and those that come after us. And if you'd like to know more about our congregation, our faith, or maybe just anything else that you can think of, who knows what information we hold in our heads. There's a card in the back of your chairs, and you can fill it out. We also have QR codes on the order of service. We have a website. We have, I don't think we have TikTok, but we have a Facebook. We have an Instagram. We have. So you can contact us if you need us and would like just more information. And please join us for coffee after the service, where community continues to grow and you'll meet some interesting people. Now for some announcements. Reverend Joe has settled just enough that he would like to start meeting folks one-on-one, and his goal is to meet us, long-term members, new members, all of us. There'll be a sign-up sheet today downstairs. I believe they've decided it's going to be right as you by the stairs in the elevator when you go down, where you can sign up, and he really hopes that these meetings will help him to get to know our stories and us in deeper ways. Reverend Joe expects that each meeting will be about 90 minutes, and he's willing to meet you at a coffee shop, a restaurant, or your home, or some other place. In this way, he might get to know Flint better while he's getting to know us better. During coffee hour, please put your name on the list. Thank you. And we also have the herbal collaborative today, and it's starting at 12:15. And I don't know, do we have any other slides? Because I wasn't given any other announcements. No? Book club. That's next week. And you do not have to have read all of the book to come to book club. Nobody's going to grade you down for not reading the whole thing. Come and join it. We also have Pride coming up, and if you'd like to sign up to be part of our Pride, I think it's Terry. Terry and Chris are organizing that, and they'll be downstairs also. And the second Sunday donation for August, that is for wellness, and I don't think this is the second Sunday, though. That's what I thought. Okay, next slide. That's it. Now, we'll do our chalice lighting.
Nope, call to worship.
Call to worship. Call to worship, sorry.
We're working it out. So,
Yeah,
all right. Right?
right.
We believe in forgiveness and grace, right? Because I use plenty of it. For this morning's call to worship, I would like to quote Sister Melanie Svoboda, a sister of Notre Dame who lives in Chardon, Ohio, not too far from where I used to live. This morning, as we consider the mystery of our lives that is puzzling, may these words be a welcome into reflection. She wrote, I like working jigsaw puzzles. Some of my friends don't understand why. They say, you spend hours putting all those little pieces together and then you take the puzzle apart again. What's the point? The point is not so much the finished product. The point is the process of putting the puzzle together. There's something challenging, fun, and even spiritual about searching for a specific puzzle piece, finding it, and putting it precisely where it belongs in the puzzle. If you don't enjoy that process, you probably won't enjoy jigsaw puzzles. If you've come to UU Flint this morning in person or visiting online, welcome to our service. May something you experience with us today help you find a piece of the puzzle you've been looking for. And now, sir, we're going to light our chalice with the words chosen by our worship associate, Sue Kinsey, but by a member, someone I went to school with named Elizabeth Harding. So these are the words of Elizabeth Harding. We Unitarian Universalists do not drink from our chalice. Instead, we use it to hold a flame. The circle of the chalice keeps the fire small. The flame doesn't blind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light so we can see all the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones. Because Unitarian Universalist flame is a light of learning. The flaming chalice is a symbol of learning and love, and it is our symbol, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Thank you, sir. Covenant man?
And if you'll join with us in saying our covenant, recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, and the transforming power of love and service, we gather as a sacred, intentional, to daily seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice.
Now I get to say good morning to all you beautiful people. Thanks for showing up today. I hope you enjoy the singing. Let's all rise. We're going to sing, I don't know if, oh, yes, page 345. I just learned this song. You might be regular UU that's been with UUism for a long time and know the words in the tune. I did not, but I had to learn it. So we're going to try it together today. With joy we claim the growing light, advancing thought and widening view. The larger freedom, clearer sight, which from the old world anew. With wider view come loftier goal, with fuller light, more good to see. With freedom truer, self-control, with knowledge deeper, reverence free. Lovely, thank you. Please be seated.
So one of the things that we talked about, the folks who were kind of helping reshape worship in our new era, is to include a time for all ages, and here's why. It really is for all ages. It's not a kid story in disguise, right? So if kids show up, great. If they don't, how about the kid in you just listen? All right? The first jigsaw puzzles were not really meant to be puzzles at all. Did you know that? In the 1760s, a London map maker named John Spilsbury mounted maps onto thin pieces of wood and then cut them apart along the borders of countries. Children were expected to put the world back together again. So there's two levels of that. That's cute, but also I keep thinking about that rabbi who says the little children shall lead them, right? So put the world back together again. That's so cool. They were called dissected maps, and they were educational tools. I'm afraid that my grandchild is going to get a lot of those from us. We're going to be those grandparents. Geography could not be learned by just looking, but by touching, by sorting, by trying, by failing, and trying again. Over time, the idea spread. There were puzzles teaching history, scripture, poetry, morality. Eventually, people realized something important. Putting the pieces together was enjoyable even when nobody was learning about the capital of France. So by the early 20th century, puzzles had become a genuine adult craze. Families and friends gathered around tables working on elaborate wooden puzzles. Some were deliberately difficult. They had no picture on the box. Some had false edges on pieces, or pieces that appeared to fit where they did not belong, which seems kind of cruel to me, but then cardboard made puzzles cheap enough for almost anyone to own. During the Great Depression, puzzles became enormously popular. For a small amount of money, a household could have hours of entertainment. You could work alone for a while, then someone else could sit down and find a piece. Someone walking past might stop for 30 seconds, place one piece, and continue on. We don't like those people. And I think that maybe the most interesting thing about a puzzle, it creates a little community around a table. Nobody has to solve the whole thing. Nobody has to even know what they're doing. One person finds the corners, another sorts the colors, someone else notices a tiny piece of sky everyone else overlooked. And slowly, through many hands, something fragmented becomes whole. Perhaps that's what puzzles continue to find their way onto our tables today. They remind us that not every problem is ours to solve alone. Sometimes our task is simply to find the piece that is ours to place. Next up is Sue's going to share a personal reflection, something that she wrote, and I hope this becomes a regular feature of our services so that someone else can share something wholly unrelated to me about their own experience of the topic, and you get to know each other in a different way that way. So, our inaugural personal reflection.
All right. Puzzles are often seen as just something you do when you're bored and can't find anything else to do. But they can be so much more. When I was working, there was a break room. It was pretty standard, a couple old couches and a microwave and a table and of course a coffee pot. One day, a jigsaw puzzle showed up. Don't know where it came from. And suddenly it was partially completed and it kept on going. That puzzle soon became a way to de-stress, to accomplish something, even if you couldn't accomplish anything else that day. You did something right. And also to build community. The act of finding the right puzzle piece when nothing else is going is a way to help clear your mind, to get it off the problem you're trying to solve and onto the puzzle. And this worked for me one day. I worked in a fairly stressful job. Most of us do. The world is not a calm place. And one day there was a horrific incident involving a baby. I had minimal to do with this. I was not involved or anything. The only thing I did was to hold the baby while others went around trying to protect the baby, make sure the baby would never be put in jeopardy again, make sure that the person, or try to make sure the person was put someplace that they would never be able to harm anyone again. I just bounced a baby. And I felt so inadequate. There was nothing more that I could do than that. I also thought about people who had been in contact with this baby before. Probably good people. Had they looked away when they had an inkling that something was happening? Because it's easier not to get involved. And was I doing that in my own home, in my neighborhood? And this was eating me alive. And I went in to the break room, and when somebody else had come for the baby, of course, and I put a couple pieces of puzzle together and a couple more. And suddenly my mind was clearing, and it came to me that I can't change the past. I don't think I had done anything, but going forward, I might be a little more observant. So, that is what a puzzle is for. The act of finding the right piece when nothing else is going right can help clear your mind, calm your soul, if only for a minute or two. Several people seeking the piece to finish the corner will communicate, and it will build community, if even just for a short time. And these puzzles, when they were finished, were admired for a day or two, and then one would disappear and be replaced by a new one. And that's the thing about puzzles. Once you solve one, there's always another. But working towards completing the puzzle is not the real reason for the puzzle. Instead, it's those moments of distraction, community, and the sense of accomplishment. I think we're now at the point. Okay, I've got a reading after this. Lawrence Kushner.
There's no combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could sing, but I can try for your heart. Our dreams are made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs and sepia tone loving. Love is the answer, at least for most of the questions in my heart. Like, why are we here and where do we go and how come it's so hard? It's not always easy and sometimes life can be deceiving. I tell you one thing, it's always better than we're together. It's always better than we're together. Yeah, look at the stars when we're together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together. And all of these moments might find their way into my dreams tonight, but I know that they'll be gone when the morning light sings or brings new things. For tomorrow night, you see, that they'll be gone too. Too many things we have to do, but all of these dreams might find their way into my day-to-day scene. I'll be under the impression I was somewhere in between, with only two, just me and you. Not so many things to do, or places we got to be. We'll sit beneath the mango tree, yeah. Yeah, it's always better than when we're together. Oh, we're somewhere in between together. Well, it's always better when we're together. Yeah, it's always better when we're together now. I believe in memories, they look so pretty when I sleep. And hey now, when I wake up, you look so pretty sleeping next to me. But there is not enough time, no, there is no song I could sing, and there is no combination of words I can say, but I'll still tell you one thing, we're better together.
Getting my steps in today. For each lifetime is a pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. For some, there are more pieces. For others, the puzzle is more difficult to assemble. Some seem to be born with nearly a complete puzzle, and so it goes. Souls going this way and that, trying to assemble the myriad parts, and know this, no one has within themselves all of the pieces of their puzzle. Like before the days when they used to be sealed, jigsaw puzzles in cellophane, ensuring that all the pieces were there. Everyone carries with them at least one and probably many pieces to somebody else's puzzle. Sometimes they know it, sometimes they don't. But when you present your piece, which is worthless to you, to another, whether you know it or not, you are a messenger from the Most High. Okay. Pieces of paper here. It's a puzzle up here too. Each week we gather as a community, and often we see each other at church, in town. By placing ourselves side by side, we assemble a church where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Each person fits somewhere in the puzzle, and together, in our diversity, we create something beautiful. Together, we are responsible for the health and well-being of the congregation. One of the ways we attend to its health is through the gifts. This is your first time with us. Please let the collection plate pass you. You can touch it, but your presence here is gift enough. There's also a QR code on your order of service where you may contribute digitally. That is, if that is your Phew. If that is your preference, the offering will now be received. Ushers, would you please pass the plates?
From up here, help me out. Is this it? Okay, great, thank you. I just want to do it right. Okay. Hello, my name is Renee, and one of the ways I serve our congregation is by being on our board. Each member is an elected volunteer who has accepted the responsibility to help guide UU Flint into our future. The board sees these gifts as an act of trust, that you trust us to do our best with the resources you offer us. Reverend Joe and the board promise to do our best to use these gifts in ways that are consistent with our shared values. Thank you for your trust.
So, take this.
Cool.
And put it down there.
This way?
Yep, any way you want.
Like that.
Awesome.
Okay, cool. High five.
Lest you think we take ourselves too seriously. But this is part of transition, right? We're learning new things, trying new stuff, seeing what fits really well, no puzzle pun intended, and what doesn't. I guess everyone has a strategy when it comes to puzzles. And those strategies vary depending on the kind of puzzle. But for now, let's focus on tabletop puzzles. Those strategies reveal something about us and perhaps something about how we see the world. I am a border builder, but only on tabletop puzzles. It's a title I just made up, so if there's another name for it, I don't know it. But I begin by separating out all the edge pieces. And then I knew my best to assemble them the entire outside of the puzzle. It makes sense to me. All those pieces have a flat side, right? They're easy to find. At least you're saying no? Oh God, you're going to ruin everything. So in my apparently beginner puzzles, it makes sense. They're easy to find. And then I build. Is that the verb, build? I build the puzzle from the borders inward. And for a long time, I thought everyone did this. I was shocked when I discovered a friend of mine started from the middle. She simply found pieces that seemed, or actually proved, to go together and began building these little clumps or islands. She built islands on the puzzle and connected the islands to one another, and on she went. Often the border came last. And this taught me a valuable lesson. What seemed to me to be the natural and completely logical order of things was not universally applicable. Now, I was old enough at the time of this discovery to have learned long before that people had different ways of doing things. People had different favorite foods. There were people who were right-handed like me and left-handed like my brother. In fact, I had an uncle who was left-handed. He married a woman, my aunt, who was left-handed, and 3 of their 4 kids were left-handed. Their one right-handed child had to come to my parents to learn to do things like tie a shoe and perform other things that many of us take for granted. So you see, I've been aware of diversity for a very long time. But puzzles from the middle? All of this came to mind one sunny afternoon when Denny and I were exploring a town in New England. We often have done this on our day off. We visit a town we've never seen before. We read about its history, their industries, what happened there in the past, and what's happening there now. Now, Denis is a minister who was trained as an architect and also studied urban planning, so cities are of great interest to him. I'm a trained historian and a bit of a, nerd, so you can see how this might play to both our strengths when we go exploring. At any rate, we were in New Bedford, or maybe it was Fairhaven in Massachusetts, and we visited this local library because who doesn't love a library? On the second floor, next to this beautiful sunny window, was a giant table with 4 chairs, and on this giant table was an unfinished puzzle with a sign, a little lucite sign that said, "We invite anyone who passes by to sit for a while and help complete this puzzle." I will admit to you, I was charmed almost beyond words by this invitation. And so we sat for a little while. I discovered that the border had not yet been completed, but that several islands where connected pieces were already floating in the middle. As Denis and I searched for pieces to add to the puzzle, I noticed we were sitting in the puzzle section of the library. The library had hundreds of puzzles that it lent to people who had library cards. I was fascinated. "What an act of bravery," I said to Denis. And he looked up. "These people just hand out puzzles to folks and hope the puzzles come back with all the pieces." And my brain started working on this other non-tabletop puzzle. I had a lot of questions. Some of them, I'll admit, were based in fear. What if I checked out a puzzle and I lived in this town and lost a piece? What if I returned only 1,499 pieces? What would happen? And how would they know? Certainly they did not have staff members or even volunteers counting every puzzle piece as it came back. That would be unbelievably tedious. And what would happen if I checked out a puzzle only to discover that it contained fewer than the number promised on the box? What if there were only 994 pieces in this puzzle instead of 1,000? Would I feel cheated? Would I feel that I had been invested all this time in the puzzle only to receive a less than satisfying result? This was the moment when the puzzle department of the library became theological to me. The whole enterprise depended on trust. The library trusted people it could not supervise to care for something that belonged to the whole community. The people who borrowed the puzzle trusted those who had borrowed them before. Each person behaved as though their relationship with strangers mattered, even strangers they've never met. The library could lend those puzzles because it trusted the relationship more than it feared the missing piece. In Unitarian Universalism, we are a people of covenant. A covenant is not quite the same as an agreement because, as you probably already know, there are plenty of disagreements in Unitarian Universalism. A covenant is not the same as a contract. A contract has terms and legal ramifications. It tells us what each party must do and what may happen if someone fails to do it. A covenant is a sacred promise among people. Its authority rests not in one person or another, nor in a court of law. Its authority rests in the relationship between the people who make the covenant. Our Jewish neighbors are also a people of covenant. One ancient sign of that covenant is the rainbow, the story you may know of the great flood. During that story, God becomes so frustrated with creation that God floods the whole world for 40 days and 40 nights. And then God, I think perhaps feeling some regret, allows the waters to recede and places a rainbow in the sky. The rainbow represents God's promise never to again destroy the earth by flood. But notice that this covenant is not only between God and Noah. In the story, God establishes the covenant with Noah and all of Noah's descendants, and with every living creature. God promises to restrain even their own power for the sake of making a relationship with the whole living world. The rainbow is a sign of that promise. In Unitarian Universalism, our theology is a little more diverse than this, and I say that not triumphantly, but simply as a report. Within our congregations, there are many theologies. Some of us believe in God, some of us do not. Some believe in many gods, others follow a spiritual discipline that is largely internal. But however we believe, we come together and voluntarily enter into a covenant, a sacred promise about how we will live with one another. There is me, there is thee. And the third part of our covenant, the thing that is neither simply you or me, is our relationship. When a covenant is broken, our purpose is not punishment or public humiliation. Harm must be sometimes plainly named, and safety sometimes requires boundaries. But whenever possible, our calling is not merely to call someone out with a pointed finger. It is to call one another back into account, into right relationship, to accountability, to the possibility of beginning again. This calling back in can be powerful because it demonstrates the importance of our relationships one to another. And if we expand this model, our covenant is not only with the people already inside this room or watching us on YouTube right now. Our covenant is with the world beyond these walls. And so I've come to you this morning with questions. Puzzles, really. Every church, when looking for a new minister, says it wants to grow. This last time I looked at churches, and every time I've looked at churches, every church says, we want to grow. But what does growth mean to us? Certainly, at the very least, growth means welcoming back some of the people who have wandered away and welcoming new people who have not yet found us. But if our covenant extends beyond the people already inside this building, then we must ask who has not yet found their place among us. Why do we want to grow? Who in Flint needs this congregation and what we can offer? And what must we be willing to do differently so that they can find us and find their place within our covenant if that is their choosing? One of the great things about being the new kid on the block is that everything is fresh. My days at work are full of discoveries. This morning I discovered where the order of services hide on Sunday morning, for example. I want us to discover the answers to these questions and others we have not yet learned to ask as we begin our time together. And if puzzles have taught me anything, they've taught me that the way that feels rock solid and completely logical to me may not be the way someone else sees or assembles the world. So I want to invite us to go together into the future, a little unsure, a little curious, and full of wonder. I want us to discover which of our traditions continue to serve us, which new ways of doing things may be beneficial, and who else in the world needs to know that there exists a place, a church, where people can come with all of their questions, with their history of making mistakes, and showing grace to each other, not hiding whom they love or how they understand themselves to be, a place where they can come and belong. Unitarian Universalism is, to me, a great hope in this world. We covenant to affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and increasingly to recognize the worth and dignity of every being. We are not perfect at this. We have never been perfect at this, but we keep calling one another back into covenant. we return to the table to try again. And somewhere out there in Flint, elsewhere, are people who need to know that they can be welcome here. People who are lonely and struggling to find a place where they can sit, relax, be accepted, and be cared for and cared about. And then in time, they will become so much a part of us that they will welcome the next stranger who feels they need to find us. They will be the person who opens the door, or passes them an order of service like John did today, or sings beside them, or sits with them during coffee hour. They will be the one who says, in words or simply in the way they make room, here you can belong. Here, with us. It's going to take some work on our part to get that message out into the world. There will be pieces we cannot bind. There may be pieces we do not yet recognize. They may have borders that aren't straight, apparently. There may even be moments when someone tries to put the entire thing together from the middle, which will make no sense to me whatsoever. But the covenant does not require that we all assemble the puzzle the same way. Covenant does not even promise that we will live to see the picture completed. Covenant is the promise that we will remain at the table together, bringing the pieces that we have, making room for pieces that others carry, trusting the relationship more than we fear what can be missing. And if we do that, then together we may reveal something beautiful. A picture of how love can exist in this world of ours. Amen. Please come together to sing Building a New Way, which is in the Teal Hymnal number 1017, or the words on the screen.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Ignited jealousy. We are working to be free. We are can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We are feeding every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. With the freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. Very good. Thank you. Please be seated.
almost as if I'd planned this, which I did not, we, despite discussions about this, did not have candlelighting today. So, we're building a new way, right? We're assembling the puzzle from the middle. I invite those who wish to come forward to light a candle. Please come forward and do so now. And can you just play something, sir? Thank you.
We extinguish this chalice, but not extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the power of commitment. These we carry in our hearts till we are together again.
Thank you.
At this time, we're together, and we've had a wonderful service, but this church does not exist just by good faith and love and caring. We need money.
We did that part.
We did?
Yes, we're on the benediction.
Jesus. I'll get out of here. Dang it, we need the money. We need the money. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
All right. Do you want to stay up here while I do this?
Huh?
Want to stay up here while I do benediction?
Yes, I'll just go sit down.
Sue's hardcore.
East side.
As we go from this place, maybe to coffee hour, maybe not, carry with you the peace that is yours to bring. Make room at every table for the gifts that others carry. When the picture is unclear, choose curiosity. When a piece seems missing, choose trust. When a covenant is strained, choose the brave work of returning. And may the love we make visible together become a beacon of hope to a world still waiting to know, to discover where it belongs. Go in peace. Amen.